Yo, you're an R&B guy, right? So like, I think about like the dark ages of R&B that produced guys like Frank Ocean and The Weeknd, because we had this like weird era of R&B where like Neo was doing fist pump like fucking anthems with Pitbull, and fucking Chris Brown and Usher was saying "Oh my God" with Will I Am, just doing all this fucking just terrible pop records that were all over the fucking radio. Trey Songz didn't budge. I don't remember a Trey Songz EDM song.
There might be one, but Trey at that time was doing like actually really dope R&B mixtapes.
For sure.
He was keeping...
But I feel like out of that, we did get like the Frank Ocean and The Weeknd shit at that same time. It was like House of Balloons.
The summer of 2011, we got Nostalgia Ultra, we got House of Balloons, and we got Cocaine 80s. That changed, and then shortly after that...
Miguel had some dope... I mean, Miguel's album was crazy at that time.
Kaleidoscope Dreams was incredible. But that was more like Channel Orange time, I think.
What was All I Want Is You was dope, but even the first album, All I Want Is You was dope.
We had, and then I'm saying more so like what kind of defined the way we're talking about the blog era. When it came to R&B, it was Frank, Cocaine 80s, The Weeknd, and then Janae was putting out her mixtapes at that time. And that, I mean, to me is the genre of what this moody, dark, to some degree, whispering R&B is, which I know a lot of R&B people shit on this new sound of R&B. I don't. I think R&B is an amazing place. And if you look, there's people that can really sing. There's people that can make really good music. There's people that can make dark, moody, whispery shit that I like too. Like, it doesn't have to be defined just by the vocalists. I think we need to take care of our vocalists. They are the unicorns, and we need them all the time. But that doesn't mean we have to shit on everyone that can make great records when they're whispering.
I was going to say, there's like this huge... Obviously, with what happened at Coachella, a lot of people were down on Frank Ocean. Rightfully, you know, I get it.
Yeah, for sure.
He fucking did a half-ass. My son's a huge Frank Ocean fan. I'm so glad. I was about to do the whole weekend. I'm so glad my tickets did not come through. Because I was like, you see your fucking, this is your savior on stage with a fucking DJ doing a random set for 30 minutes in the middle.
Is this your king?
This is your fucking king right here? But I still love Frank. But I feel like, do you feel like we we hold him in a higher regard than we should based on like the amount of music that's actually out? Well, it also tells you, of course, how good that music was.
I mean, he's one of the few artists in this era that did the Mystique thing so well that we don't know his asterisks. Like we know all of Chris Brown's asterisks.
We do all of them.
You have to, at least Chris Brown has given us himself, whether music, personally, everything.
For good or bad.
He's constantly putting music out. He's constantly performing. He's constantly trying new things. Like, that's great. But Frank hasn't done that, which is fine.
He did put out like a $15,000 cock ring.
Okay, well, I mean, he did entrepreneur.
He put out a piece of dick jewelry.
Entrepreneur.
Which was interesting this year.
But I have a weird thoughts on that too, because I think we still need those few mysterious artists.
For sure.
Like, I still like that, because I grew up in that era where it was like, you didn't know the artist, and they gave you an album, and they disappeared for 3 years, and they came back. Like, that's ill if you can do that now, and Frank has a masterclass in that regard. But it makes moments like Coachella
super magnified if it's not good.
And you deserve all the critique you get from it, because you only pop up every now and then. So when you pop up, you have to make it your best. Like, we waited forever from Channel Orange to Blonde. He delivered on Blonde. He kept that mystique and that legend going. So when you're about to do Coachella, we assume if you're going to do Coachella, you've been rehearsing for a year. You don't pop out unless it's going to be something.
Yeah, you would expect, like, this is going to be insane.
And I assume that there'd be music with it. Like, if you're going to pop out and do something, I don't think Frank is low on money. I don't know his habits. I think the cock ring probably did well. I don't know. Did he partner with Blue Chew?
I don't know. Maybe. I hope so. Promo code Bootleg. 3 months supply.
It's just when you disappear and have that luxury of disappearing and having so much anticipation when you just tweet, hey, you have to deliver when it's time to. And he did not deliver. So, he deserves the critique he's gotten. He's a legend in my opinion when it comes to music. He's one of my favorite artists. I love Channel Orange. Blonde was one of those ones that had to grow on me. It grew on me. I didn't like Blonde when it first came out.
Almost like season 2 of The Wire, you know?
Sure, all right, I'm not mad at that comparison.
You know, you watch season 2 of The Wire, like, who are all these fucking white dudes at the fucking pier, you know? Like, oh no, I love season 2 of The Wire now. Like,
Blonde initially, I didn't hate, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. As the years went, It's one of the best written albums. I think when I got to my like late 20s, around like 29, almost probably going to 30, I was like, this is the definition of someone transitioning from their 20s to their 30s.
Right.
Like the writing on that album is fucking incredible. It's a rap album. Like almost down to what SZA did with SOS, of just like how much her pen is all over that.
Crazy.
The way Solange did with Seat at the Table, where it's just like, this isn't just R&B. There's so much fucking words and content in this.
Right.
It's not just melody driven. It's not drum driven. This is a pen. Blonde is that to me. It's one of the best written albums I've ever heard. But it took me years to get there.
Yeah, I feel like because you just expect something different.
There's not a wasted syllable on Blonde. And it took me a while to realize that. But I was
like
the same way. Coming off Channel Orange, I was like, bro, give me a snare. Like, what the fuck?
Right.
And he gave us Nights. Oh, no, Nights did come out with it. But that was the one that they pushed. And that was the first one we heard. So I assumed the rest of the album would be like Nights. And then I was like, I have not heard a fucking kick yet.
Right.
But it's a classic.